All right. We are live on YouTube and YouTube only this week. I've kind of I had
Breaking
to
the law.
I had to do that. Well,
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Barry didn't realize last week that my microphone wasn't appropriately set up. So
Oh no.
well, not last week, but on the last podcast. So that entire episode was recorded on my laptop.
I sounded great.
Yeah, you sounded all sexy and fantastic as you usually do, but I sounded like I was in a cardboard box on the floor.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, pretty much.
That is where you belong, sir.
But no, I tried this. It was by Streamlabs. It was kind of their web-based streaming thing. It was called Melon or something like that. And I figured I'd try it one week, and I didn't like it, so I went back to StreamYard, and I think we'll stick here because I really like this program and the way it works and stuff like that. So, anyways, that was the nightmare last podcast because my audio was so weird and awkward, and I didn't even I can't blame Barry because I didn't even notice it when I was editing the podcast. When I was listening to it on my headphones. So, anyways, the wonders of podcasting. So, anyways,
Heyo.
Hello everybody in the chat. How's everybody doing this lovely Sunday evening? I promise next podcast, as you can tell behind me,
Carpet wall.
carpet wall. Yeah, as most of you have seen on Twitter and for those of you that are friends with me on Facebook, the office / podcast studio is going under the knife because I finally got the okay to do this entire wall. Cheryl's arts and crafts stuff is going over here against this wall, so she took down her flowers and everything, so I have free reign of this wall. The married life. So I started with the carpet, got that all done today. That was fun. I thought it was going to be easy, and any project you think that's going to be easy usually ends up being a nightmare. So, anyways, we're going to get going here. We have some stuff to talk about on the podcast. WandaVision. Emily went to Busch Gardens. Mardi Gras, forgot about that.
I had beignets. It was great.
You had beignets.
That's it. That's all I can say.
She had donuts at Disney Springs. Overpriced donuts at Disney Springs.
No, I panic ordered. That's a whole story.
And then a few little pop culture things. We'll chat about the Godzilla versus Kong trailer. And then, of course, WandaVision, which got really crazy with this latest episode that dropped
Spoilers.
Friday. Yeah, so if you haven't watched
We'll save that for last.
So
Yeah.
you can dip out if needed.
We'll do that at the end. And so, you can, for those watching the live stream, if you want to dip on out of here, you can. So really quick hello to everybody watching. Hello, Jeffrey. Blue Fox. Hello. My boy Daniel's watching. He said he was going to tune in. Dan, hello. And all right, give me a few seconds. I don't have the mixer hooked up or anything, so we're not going to have intro music. But I am going to go quiet for a few seconds, and we'll get going here. So I'm going to mute. Mute. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ThrillGeek podcast. I'm Clint.
I'm Barry.
And I'm Emily.
And hello to everybody watching in the live stream as usual. Thanks again for tuning in. We appreciate everyone. We're doing it on YouTube this week. Just a heads up, we are going to be going strictly YouTube and Twitch. We're not I made a rhyme. We are not going to be ditching the Twitch. Heyo. I'll be here all night, ladies and gentlemen. But I shockingly ran a poll, and I was kind of shocked by the results as to what platform everybody would watch if we were to condense the live stream instead of blasting it out for the podcast to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and I was surprised with the results. With like I think it was like 80-something% saying YouTube.
I mean, it sort of didn't surprise me that YouTube won. I feel like that Facebook, when it comes to the live streams, is sort of, it just isn't doing what it used to be. Like when we post stuff on Facebook, some of our posts do very well, go viral.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but
and then other ones fall flat on their face.
Yeah, and it's it's better, to build YouTube as the platform where any live stream we do, whether it's the podcast, whether it's a surprise live stream where we talk about some major news of the day, or whether we're doing live streaming from inside the park, all of it's going to be on YouTube from now on.
Yeah, and we've done a lot of discussion, all three of us, myself, Emily, and Barry, of just streamlining things this year with not only the podcast but all of our content, and just honing in on what you guys want as far as content, what you don't want, where you want it, and that sort of thing. So yes, our podcast streams will be on YouTube and Twitch from here on out. No more Facebook. So I hope everybody, listening to the podcast has a YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure everybody. It's Facebook too that seems to be the platform that some people are like, oh, I'm not a fan of Facebook. It seems, whenever you bring up Facebook with the privacy stuff with Facebook, it always seems like Facebook is the weird one that everybody's like, oh, I don't have a Facebook account anymore.
I mean, we all still have Facebook accounts, but I think all of us, especially me, do not use it as much as you. And I'm almost non-existent on it now.
I think the most that we even use is just like Messenger.
Yeah,
and
it's like sharing memes.
It's
basically
it's just I don't use it as much anymore. I mean, Twitter is our primary platform. More so, I think now Twitter followed by Instagram are our two primary platforms.
Yeah.
Yes, Instagram is owned by Facebook, but
yeah. Just a little housekeeping. First things first here. Before we dive into stuff, really quick. What have you guys been up to? I haven't talked to you personally in a while, besides Facebook chat, like I said.
I was about to say, we talk every day.
I know.
But,
we just don't see each other.
Yeah, we don't see each other like we used to. So,
you only go to Universal parks. So, I mean, even though you have a pass to Disney.
I do. I need to, I don't know why I haven't gotten into...
I hate scheduling those reservations.
I think that's what it is. I'm just too damn lazy. I want to go scan my annual pass, which Disneyland people, you don't know what that is.
Yes.
Poor sweet baby.
Sorry, I had to. I just think it's the whole scheduling thing, I just haven't gotten into the groove yet. So yes, Universal is my go-to park. I've been there. I was actually there on
once a week.
A week. Friday, I was there walking around. I got to check out Velocicoaster. Some construction walls came down. Nothing exciting. Plants, bamboo,
foliage,
exciting stuff. Foliage,
statues.
Yeah, the raptor statues are really
they're
cool
all
looking.
Wrapped up, though.
They're
like
raptors.
little Christmas presents.
Yeah. And the entry marquee went up. I think that was Friday, Thursday, overnight. So that looks really cool. It's just so weird now because it says Jurassic World Velocicoaster.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
And we have Jurassic Park River Adventure, and we have a Jurassic World meet and greet with Blue. It's same thing
with Diagon Alley, basically.
It's really sort of disappointing to me. It's like either go in on the Jurassic World redo or don't. And it's really, people give Universal Creative a lot of crap at times about thematic integrity, and it's how much extra would it cost to change the signage You know,
Not a whole
I mean,
lot.
and yeah, I know you'd have to change some of the color scheme from the red and yellow to the blue. It was like blue and white
Blue and
more.
white. Well, it's like a blue, silvery.
Yeah, blue and
Teal.
silver. Just do it, and then you could just then you could say you have a new land. You know,
And
But
you know,
the thing, I
I was
feel like they don't want to commit though to that because that means money, and that
Yeah.
means
Well,
that
I
they're
think-
most likely going to have to get rid of the current version of River Adventure at some point.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I think if they finally give us the update to River Adventure, then I would hope then they would go ahead and spend the money and rebrand it as Jurassic World. You know,
And the dis-
'cause-
I mean, you'd hope, but
I was talking this over with Cheryl just a little bit ago, actually, and you know, the Discovery Center that needs an updating. You know,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
just they could go through that whole land and update the Discovery Center. All those games and interactive things in there are so outdated. You know, give that a facelift to Jurassic World themed, and you know, you like you were saying, Barry, you don't even have to do a lot to the River Adventure. Just change some of the colors, maybe, you know, change one of the animatronics to update some of the animatronics. You don't have to go all crazy like they did in Hollywood and add. It would be cool.
I mean, our
then
River
you're going to
Adventure.
have those expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, our River Adventure is beyond due for a massive refurb and
Construction.
and deconstruction and do it up like Hollywood.
yeah,
Because it's always been the stepchild compared to the Hollywood version anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, hopefully at some point they are going to do that and then rebrand the whole place as Jurassic World. But having one section in the middle of it,
yeah.
you know, be
Yeah.
Jurassic World, it's just, you know, I
Um,
slap a coat of paint on it and call it Jurassic World. It's just, I understand why, you know, they just feel like I'm assuming from based on like some of the rumors I heard, they just don't want to spend the money right now to do it. And
Dan says, is it due to contracts or licensing?
I don't think so. No,
I don't
they
think
own
so,
it.
It's
'cause
just
they
they
own
don't
it.
money.
It's Universal.
They don't want to
yeah.
spend the money. I think
Um,
that's what it is. It's not to be, you know, we Universal has done a lot of amazing things. But it's like, you know, it's stuff like this that you know, where it feels like sometimes they sort of cheap out on. And
Yeah.
well, but hey, we're getting this amazing new coaster. We are hoping amazing new coaster.
Yeah, it looks. Velocicoaster looks fantastic.
I mean, if you just sit out there and watch it,
and
test,
also thank
that's
God it doesn't have a section that goes backwards because I'm getting sort of tired of that with some coasters.
yeah.
So
Wow, we went off on a tangent there. But yeah, I went to Universal, got to walk around Velocicoaster, saw the signage, saw the Raptors, and then I jumped on the Hogwarts
the tribute
Express.
store facade is up.
Yep.
Yeah, I went over to Studios, checked out the Tribute store. I think Emily's been now. She saw it.
I went on Saturday. Yeah,
and
it's cute. I like
it-
her.
yeah, it looks really cool. And then some of the food, the food booths are popping up. Some of them look like trucking containers. Some of them have a little more theming to them. They look like little cottages or little houses.
And the nice thing, and this is the one thing I think a lot of us have wanted over the years with Mardi Gras, is they've spread it out.
Yeah, they're really spread out. As soon as you get off Hogwarts Express there in London, the first food booth is right there by Fast and Furious. So they have it pretty spread out throughout. They're going to have this Mardi Gras event pretty spread out throughout the park.
Yeah, because there's the ones by Fast and Furious. There's one down by Fear Factor Live, and then I saw another one by Kid Zone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I didn't make it up to. I pretty much on Friday.
there's
when I
only
was-
one near there.
When I got there on Friday, I pretty much got off the train, went straight down to New York, and I left. I didn't get to walk around anywhere else. So,
So speaking of Mardi Gras, Emily, you went and checked out Busch Gardens Mardi Gras, which I think
So to
is
say it wasn't Universal.
which I think is this is the second year they've done Mardi Gras. I
Yes.
think it was a little bit smaller and shorter last year.
I don't think we went last year, did we?
No,
no, I don't think we made it to the Busch Gardens Mardi Gras.
I don't
last
think
year.
So what was theirs like?
Yeah, I mean it's cute. Don't get me wrong. I know somebody posted merchandise, but I didn't see any, so I thought that was kind of weird. But I mean, it's more of that section back by like where Iron Gwazi is and going towards Sesame Street, kind of where they always have the festival stuff. That's primarily where they have like their food booths, different alcohol stands, stuff like that. You can always get the sampler. They were very nice to give us a sampler as well. So we tried different things like beignets and jambalaya, gumbo. So they definitely had a lot of different options. They also had hurricanes, and that was nice. But they had like almost like a little parade come through, which was cute, and we included that in the video. And it doesn't take very long. It's just kind of showing off costumes, and then pretty much like the big band comes out, which is really weird. The band played like on the grass right next to the beignet line, so you couldn't get like any footage of it. It was just like trying to be like, oh, excuse me, can you please not stand in line for beignets right now? The band is playing. So that was weird. But I don't know what they call them there, like the stand tents.
Did they have beads?
Distanced.
Were any of the people throwing out beads or anything?
No, it was weird. We went on a Sunday and I stayed around there for a good amount of time, and there was like a section near, I don't know Busch Gardens by heart, so I'm sorry. But there's like a little section for where you go to get beads, and that was completely closed off. Like there was a rope there, you couldn't go through, there was no one standing there, and it was just kind of weird. That it was like advertised that like, oh, you can go get beads and stuff like that, and it just wasn't a thing.
Yeah, because I saw it. I think it was like
it was opening weekend though too, so maybe that's why.
It was like a video on the Busch Gardens promo website or something like that. Like somebody was throwing beads or something.
Yeah,
I was wondering if they had them.
I mean, I think if I ever found the merchandise, they most likely had them for sale. Yeah. But I definitely didn't personally.
Yeah, I mean,
handing them out.
They should just put you in a physically distanced line. You go through the line, and people just hit you in the face with beads. You know, like it normally is when you're watching the Mardi.
So I mean,
Mardi
that
Gras.
already happened.
Mardi Gras parade. So I mean, that's what I would do. But
I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think we've been spoiled by Universal at this point, just because obviously they have a big parade and everything like that. And yes, we're not going to have the parade this year at Universal. But it's just kind of, I enjoy the atmosphere personally more at Universal. I definitely do think that they get a really good job at this event. And it's definitely something different for you to check out, because I know Busch Gardens is trying to do a lot of that this year with promoting different events and different kind of things to get you into the park. So I definitely think Mardi Gras is a good idea, because who doesn't want beignets all the time?
You know what would really get me in the park? Opening Iron Gwazi.
Yeah, you think.
Facts. Throw beads at me while I'm on Iron Gwazi.
Oh God, that would hurt.
Yeah, no, you know, like I said, I'm not too familiar with the Busch Gardens Mardi Gras event, so it was cool to see you go down there. I actually watched your vlog. If you guys want to go over to the YouTube channel, Emily did do a little video that's up on our YouTube channel that you can watch and kind of check out some of the stuff she experienced down there at Busch Gardens for Mardi Gras. And speaking of Universal Mardi Gras, it starts in a week, right?
Yeah,
this weekend coming up. So
yeah,
we'll definitely be out there checking that out. Some of the food, some of the festivities.
That tribute store.
So look for all sorts of content for that. Emily, you also we're gonna keep you busy here. You went we're gonna make you work this podcast.
And I think the shocking part about the next part is myself, the person who every time he travels finds
gets some donuts somewhere.
You're the donut
shop.
Man.
Gourmet donut shop has not been to Everglazed Donuts yet.
Every week, Barry on Twitter. Well, I stopped by this place for donuts.
The Salty Donut, the best donuts in Orlando
I
right now.
went to the Salty Donut, and I did not have a good time because I was actually not anticipating a salty donut, and it threw me off.
Oh gosh, so they're actually like salty? Ooh.
Yeah, it was weird.
I mean, their best donut is the brown butter with plus salt.
But I got a Boston cream donut, and when I think Boston cream donut, I don't think salty.
Yeah. So
it confused me.
Oh my gosh. But anyways, Emily, you went to Everglazed, so I'm curious, and so how was your experience there?
It's a story. Well, I went with my two friends, Kim and Kelly, and they haven't been to like Gideon's or anything yet, so we kind of just moseyed around Disney Springs. We waited 2 hours for Gideon's, and that was fun. We bought over $50 worth of cakes and cookies. So that happened. But then after that, we have the bright idea to go walk up to Everglades, and it's up in near like the Orange Garage entrance where the AMC movie theater is. I forget, used to be like
Pop Gallery.
The
Was
Pop
there.
it was like an
Gallery
art-
used
yeah,
to be
Pop
there,
Gallery.
and that's where Everglades is now. So I was confused. I actually thought it was maybe down near NBA Experience a little bit more, but it's not. So we went there, and we're talking in line. There's like a little window you can look in, and you can see them making the donuts, and they sell other things too, like different burgers, fries, chicken sandwiches, that kind of sort of stuff. So if you're really not looking for a burger, you don't have to. Excuse me, a donut. You don't have to. You can definitely get something else, and they specialize in cold brew as well. It's different types of coffee too. So we're standing in line, it's a great time. And we get up to the counter, and the lady's super nice. She's like, "Hey, welcome to Everglades. What can I get for you?" And then both of them look me dead in the eye and go, "Oh, we don't want anything." And I just panicked. I absolutely panicked. And I'm like, what's your favorite thing here? And like, I'm a very picky eater, as these two know. So she like suggested like this, they have like a cinnamon toast donut, and I was just like, no, I don't want that.
Can I get the cookies and cream?
And I turned on them immediately. Well, I turned on my two friends immediately, and I was like, tell me what to order. You made me do this. So I did end up getting the Fruity Pebble donut, which was odd. They are a lot of money.
They're like what, $5 a piece?
So they have like traditional donuts, what they call them, like a glazed,
like
maybe like a strawberry frosted, that kind of stuff. Like very traditional donuts. Those are $4.50 to begin with. Then you go up to like your premium donuts, which are like the one I got, the Fruity Pebbles one, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Big Oreo one. That is $5.50.
They put cereal on it. They got to jack up the price.
I was like, cool, great. So I did end up
big donut though.
I don't think they're any bigger than like the Voodoo Donuts, to be
Compared
completely
to, like,
honest
or something.
with you. I wasn't like, wow, it's a big donut. Like, no, it's the same size as Voodoo. So it was very weird to me, like going somewhere like, for example, Voodoo Donut, where maybe $1.20 for a glazed. Oh, hello, Michael. But like $1.20 for a glazed donut at maybe like Voodoo Donut, somewhere like that, or even like a freaking Krispy Kreme. And then I go over to Everglades, and they're like, please give me $4.50. And I'm like, wait, what? So don't get me wrong. I did try, obviously, the Fruity Pebbles donut. I paid money for it. I paid $5.50 for it plus tax. So I did try it. It's not a bad donut. The only thing is, especially, and I advocate, if you get any of their cereal donuts, eat it right away.
Yeah.
Because Fruity Pebbles taste like hard plastic a day later. Don't get me wrong. I scraped off most of those, and it came with like this big giant wad of like whipped cream and stuff on it. So I just kind of pushed all of that off, and it pretty much turned into like a normal like strawberry frosted donut, which was fine. It was a good donut. Yeah. It was not a $5.50 good donut. So I don't know if I'd be going back anytime soon. It was kind of like, ooh, it just opened and it's this novelty thing. But I really can't justify that pricing.
That's the problem with the cereal donuts, is if you don't eat them immediately, they're just not. They are not good the next day.
It's like soggy cereal.
Yeah.
You got to eat it right away.
It basically felt like I wrapped my donut with paper and then just tried to eat it.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't enjoyable after a while. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'm just like weird and I haven't had like a cereal donut before. And I was like, no, this is plastic. This is not fun for me. So I do think if I ever did go back and I did want to justify and spend like the money on it, I'd get something maybe more like a traditional glaze, like an Oreo, something I know that won't go bad, because I'm not like, I like sweets, don't get me wrong, but I will very slowly pick apart my sweets and like eat them gradually over like a few days time. I can't just sit there and like shove it down my maw and like call it a day. Yeah. So the fact that like I paid so much for something and I could only take like a few little bites without having to like deconstruct it was weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'd go back, to be completely honest with you.
Voodoo takes the win for the theme park donuts.
Oh yeah. And then the M&M store opened like the day later, so I was like, whatever. I missed out, I guess.
I do want to get out there.
Yet.
I do want to get out there and check it out. It looks like they got some kind of cool. I was seeing some of the other blogs.
Disney characters.
Yeah, the Disney M&M merchandise looks interesting. So maybe we could figure out a day to go out there, all of us together, and check it out.
And then instead of beads, we can pelt M&Ms at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, on the agenda here, Barry, I have me talking about Velocicoaster and Universal, which I already
did that.
So we're gonna skip over that, and we're gonna go to one of the big theme park news updates that was announced. Jungle Cruise is going to be changed a big time.
Which this has been rumored for a while that this was coming, that they've been working on this the last few years. And I don't think anybody should be surprised. And so shockingly, almost universally, the changes that have been announced were actually applauded and welcomed. And it's going to be a massive change to this attraction. And we basically saw two of the first things that are coming.
Yeah, pretty much they're getting it looks like they're pretty much, obviously the big change is, they're getting rid of the indigenous people on the attraction.
Yeah, and they're getting rid of some of the more offensive stereotypes and replacing. It looks like the gorillas with the guns is going to be replaced with the chimpanzees crashing the boat.
Yeah, and the famous rhino scene with the people getting chased up the tree. Those are going to be people now that are each going to have their own story, and they were on a jungle cruise themselves. And I guess they're going to have, it's almost like Jaws. There's going to be a ship. You remember in Jaws when the boat was sinking? There's going to be a boat now.
Do you remember Jaws?
Do you remember Jaws? Do you remember that?
Every day.
But yeah, no, the changes are pretty interesting. They've released 2 concept photos of like I said, the people getting chased up the tree, which apparently they each have their own little storyline of who they like their jobs or whatever. And
well, it's like 2 of the boats that have been names that were retired. I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember.
Is it Kango Kate? Is one of them?
Something like that.
I have there's going to be a bird watcher, an entomologist, a wildlife painter, and a photographer. And then it says each one will have a different reason for being on the expedition.
Or was it Congo Kate? I think it was Congo Kate.
I think so.
That's one of the that's they showed the concept art of the crashed boat with the chimpanzees on it going through all the stuff. And then obviously they showed the rhino up the tree, where I believe that one of them has a Congo Kate life preserver on them. So they're basically integrating the skippers into the storyline for the attraction, which I think is a really great idea.
I love how they had to mention the fact that they're like, no, this isn't going to be based on the Jungle Cruise movie with The Rock and Emily Blunt.
Thank God.
They had to actually come out and say that because they probably had a feeling people were going to freak out that this update was going to feature a Rock animatronic, which, hey, I would have been okay with. I'm a huge Rock fan. But
yeah, I think this is a more timeless edition.
It's Jungle Cruise.
Obviously, some things have needed to go away. The natives have needed to go away for a long time. Whether Trader Sam survives, I don't know.
That was a big discussion.
There's a good chance it won't survive. If it might, or maybe they'll change it to some skipper who's gone native or something, and
that's where they're going to put the Rock. The Rock's going to be selling shrunken heads now.
But I mean, here's hoping that they plus some things. That the temple gets some plussing, which if Tokyo Disneyland's Jungle Cruise,
it's so pretty.
Yeah, has like projection mapping in the
I
temple.
don't think I've ever seen their Jungle Cruise. I may have to watch a video of it.
I'm gonna send that
No.
video to you.
Oh, it's
because
amazing.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
And the projection mapping, it'd be really cool if we get some projection mapping in the temple.
Mhm.
That because it's really amazing. It totally changes that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I don't think I've ever seen a video of it.
But I
I
think
had
some of it, people's favorites, the elephant pool, the hippos, stuff like
Everything
that.
not offensive is fine.
is going to stay.
Yeah.
But they're going to replace some of the offensive stuff, and hopefully they, like I said, they only teased. We've only seen 2 parts of what this overhaul is doing. Hopefully it will. It will plus some of the other parts of the attraction. I think, like I said, the temple's always been the weakest part at Disney World. I think both parks really.
Yeah.
And so it would be nice to get some plussing. So, hey, it's there. One of the complaints has always been about some of the classic attractions is not properly updating them with using more modern technology. It's like, as much as we love the Haunted Mansion, sometimes I feel like there's certain parts
poor
of that.
Sweet girl.
Yeah.
There's certain parts of that I think could benefit with better technology. Being,
I want
I
a
agree.
Fox Ghost.
so it's.
Agreed.
I think this, it's a good step in the direction. Of course, one of the people in charge of the story is Kevin Lively, who was a Jungle Cruise skipper, who loves that attraction. And also, we totally forgot the integration of sea is coming into this attraction,
Yep.
which we are all for more Adventures Club in using sea, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, more of that sort of, basically the for lack of a better term, the IP the Imagineers created originally from the Adventures Club, which is now been used in Tokyo Disney Sea's Tower of Terror, in Hong Kong Disneyland's Mystic Manor, and now it's going to be integrated into the Jungle Cruise. So we should be excited that they're not putting the movie stuff in. They're taking one of the original Disneyland things for Disneyland and also here at Walt Disney World, and updating it. And so far, what we've seen looks pretty cool. So
Yeah, and there was I looked high and low. They didn't announce a time frame. Did you guys see
it's this year.
Yeah.
that they're going to be closing it? Yeah.
They haven't announced the closure. Obviously, Disneyland, they could be working on it right now for all we know.
We wouldn't
Sure.
know.
Because we know based on like aerial photos, Adventures Campus is pretty much done.
Yeah.
At California Adventures, so they could be. I'm sure we might see some aerial photos soon of the work that's being done on Jungle Cruise. Because
Yeah.
why not do it right now at Disneyland? Obviously, at Disney World, they're going to have to announce a closure date at some point. And maybe they're trying to get the People Mover up and running first before they shut down Jungle Cruise.
And then, of course, there was a lot of discussion about Jingle Cruise. Once this refurbishment, makeover, whatever you want to call it, is done, there were a lot of people who were like, oh my God, is Jingle Cruise going to come back? Because there is like a huge fan base for Jingle Cruise, and it's
Only
so
here.
bizarre. Yeah.
Well, because we're so starved for any holiday overlay. I mean, we lost, Country Bear Jamboree Christmas years ago.
Yeah.
Which, to this day, if you want to do something for the 50th, bring back all the Country Bear shows, bring back the Vacation Hoedown, bring back Christmas.
Yeah.
That was one of the most things when I went to Tokyo Disney, that was one of the most excited things I was to get to see Country Bear Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really surprising to see the like on Twitter, like I saw tons of people asking, oh my God, does this mean the end of Jingle Cruise? We'll
and
have
it's
to wait
funny
and
the
see.
difference between the coasts, because it's like it lasted 2 years in Disneyland, and they were
Yeah.
like, everyone out there hated it.
Over here, we're like,
But when
there's people-
you've got Small World Holiday and Haunted Mansion Holiday,
yeah.
Jingle Cruise doesn't look that great.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to wait and see, and I'm looking forward to it. Jungle Cruise is always an attraction that I always enjoy with the kids and everything. It'll be interesting to see what new jokes they come up with. Johnny in chat here, he mentioned the backside of water.
That's offensive.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's I'm excited.
yeah. it'll be
that was supposed to have been done for the 50th. So
yeah, exactly. So all right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for theme park stuff. Did I miss anything as far as
no, I think we've covered everything.
theme park topics?
Where January is always sort of a lull, and Disney sort of came out of nowhere with this Jungle Cruise announcement, and
They really did.
You guys are bored.
Yeah, you guys are bored. Here you go. You know.
Yeah,
So-
it was.
so-
So, all right. Well, let's move on over. What did you guys think of the Godzilla versus Kong trailer?
Well,
You
they
mean
definitely
giant lizard man versus big monkey.
they
Yeah.
definitely didn't leave anything up to the imagination because I mean, gee, they really showed a lot in that trailer. I mean, there was really no build up.
Yeah,
I just
Ryan.
love how like he literally picks up some type of metal to use as a shield. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is happening right now?
Well,
Because my
somebody's
boyfriend's seen those movies, and I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just watching this giant like monkey fight thing.
somebody said, and I didn't go back to look. I need to watch a higher quality version of the trailer. But somebody said that scene at the end where he's got that like shield or whatever he's blocking Godzilla with. Apparently, it's one of Godzilla's spikes.
Ah.
I don't know
I don't know anything about these things.
I would bet on the fact that what we saw was probably from the first half of the movie. There's already been talk that the
Well,
main
apparently,
part of
Godzilla shows up in like the first 5 seconds of the trailer.
yeah. So I
And-
mean, I have a feeling that what we've seen is not even close to the full movie, and that whatever battle we saw is probably not the final battle. So
It's going to be Godzilla versus Kong, but like I said, apparently
they're going to team up against one of the other monsters at some
I was
point.
gonna say I want
Yeah.
halfway through Mothra to come in, and then they just use the Stone Cold Stiller on them. Like that's just what I want.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. You know, the Cheryl, she hasn't seen the we started watching Kong Skull Island with Tom Hiddleston and all that. It's pretty much got the Avengers in it. It's got Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson.
Yeah.
She hadn't seen that yet, so we started watching that, and she saw like the first 20 or 30, like the first beginning part of Godzilla King of Monsters. And so I'm trying to get her caught up because I'm excited. I'm excited for this movie. I would be happy if it was just 2 hours of Godzilla and Kong just beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, you basically, need to watch Kong Skull Island, which takes place in the 1970s. So he's supposed to be younger than, even though that version of Kong is still bigger than a lot of the versions we're used to. And then of course the original Godzilla movie, which some people are not the biggest fan because it was basically Jaws.
Yeah.
You didn't see the monster until towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Which, and then Godzilla King of Monsters, and of course, now this. And, all three movies have done okay, but I feel like they're just they've sunk so much money into bringing Kong and Godzilla back that, I have a feeling though, if this movie doesn't do well enough, that may be it. So.
Well, I think with this movie, they need to introduce more characters. They need to introduce more monsters in this universe. And to start, because we've had, like you said, we've had what, 1, 2, 3, 4, how many Kong and Godzilla movies?
Yeah.
And there's so many more monsters in this universe that they can, that they can go off of. So I love the trailer. It was fun. It was entertaining. And that's all I want out of a Godzilla versus Kong movie. So,
and hey, it's you can either go see it in the theater or you can watch it on HBO Max if you have HBO Max.
That's an interesting point, Barry, because this movie I'm going to struggle not seeing this movie in some sort of big screen format. So,
oh no, I mean it was a struggle whether you liked Wonder Woman 84 or not. It was a struggle watching that type of movie at home because it just.
I'm glad I watched it.
It just Yeah, and you can thank me for that. And you, but it wasn't the same as watching it in the Dolby Theater at the AMC at Disney Springs. There's just, there's something different about that.
Yeah.
There's no different. As much as I've said this before, as much as I love that I got, last July 4th, got to watch Hamilton and get to watch Hamilton all I want at home. I still was looking forward to watching Hamilton in the Dolby Theater with that amazing sound system, and it's just, I'm excited but I feel like it's now, the date keeps getting pushed back, and we're now, I think, looking at fall at the earliest for most movie theaters to reopen, which sort of brings the rumor again that, what's Disney going to do about Black Widow?
Yeah.
Because the MCU train has left the building, which we'll get to in a minute here. And it feels
weird though. Like, it feels like at least like here in Central Florida, like they're open.
Yeah, but majority of the country, they're not.
Oh, I know. It just feels weird to like talk about like when movie theaters reopen. It's like, at least here though, that they've been like reopened for a little bit.
They're open, but as you know, not a lot of people are going. It
depends on what they're playing too.
Even with new movies coming out, they're still not going.
Yeah.
So it's until people feel safe enough, it's just not going to be what it was.
Smacking your microphone, Barry.
Oh no, we can't hear him now. Welcome to the live stream.
There he goes.
But, and I sort of forgot to put it on there. The trailer for Raya and the Last Dragon came out, which the animation that looks freaking amazing.
I'm excited about that movie. It looks really cool.
And Disney's doing, this will be the first hybrid release Disney's doing, where either you can go see it in a theater, or you can pay the $30 for the premiere access, which a lot of people complain about the price. But
Cheryl,
30 for one movie. I'm sorry,
Cheryl. We couldn't justify it for Mulan, but I think this one being an animated feature movie, I think we're leaning towards.
And I think that's what they're leaning.
Oh, like towards. For you guys, that's more cost effective with 2 adults and 3 kids.
Yeah.
For like us, like for example, even like the movie theaters at City Walk right now, it's $5 to $10 depending on what movie you're going to go see.
Yeah.
So for them to be like, hey, there's only 2 of you, give us $30, and you're not even sure that you're gonna like the movie. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm wondering too how Raya does, if that's going to affect the Black Widow decision. But also it's coming down to now of just not being able to keep pushing the stuff back.
Yeah,
there's already too.
I don't think they can release Winter Soldier and the Falcon, right, without releasing Black Widow. I thought that was
no. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is now coming in March. So
but that's what I'm saying. I thought there was like some big spoiler thing that the rumor was going around.
It depends on. I'm trying to remember when the final episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier can be, because if the final episode comes right after Black Widow comes out, then maybe based on that. I don't want to spout any rumors, but based on a lot of the rumors we've heard. But like I said, I think Disney's got a hard decision to make of whether to do the hybrid release for Black Widow, because you can't keep pushing these MCU movies back. It's just, the train has left the station, and then you're looking at what if you push that back, then you got to push back Shang-Li, and then you're going to have to push back the Eternals again. So it's and Spider-Man is still supposed to come out December of this year.
Yeah,
supposed to get 4 Marvel movies this year. So
well,
it'll be interesting to see what happens. But speaking of the MCU, last time we just talked about episode 1 of WandaVision, but Emily wasn't here. Now we're going to talk of 2 through 4, which I feel like things really started stepping up a little bit.
Hashtag spoiler alert.
2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yeah, hashtag spoiler alert. If you haven't watched WandaVision, go ahead and leave the live stream or turn this podcast off.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about WandaVision. I don't understand these people who are like, this is boring. It's like, have you ever watched a mystery before?
The last episode was literally for everyone that said it was boring. And they're like,
yes.
here, we're going to beat this into you.
Here's the exposition. Here's the exposition episode. We're going to explain to you what is happening.
There was an interesting article. I didn't get to read it earlier, but the headline of the article was, gosh, I forgot what exactly. It said something like, WandaVision isn't boring. People just forgot how to watch TV.
True.
Not even watch TV, but watch a mystery. It's like you build up suspense, you know. It's you're
and they were only 2 episodes in. That's what blew my mind. People were like, "Oh, this is boring. I'm giving up. This is, you know, I don't understand it."
And I definitely understand. You know, 2 was more. Episode 2 was sort of like a Bewitched, I Dream a Genie episode. And stuff started. There's a little bit more things started to go wrong in that episode. You know. People wondering, why am I there, and breaking for a moment. Color started to show up. She heard somebody's voice over the radio. There was someone in a beekeeper outfit with a sword logo on. You know, I mean, things started to, but then we also saw in that episode, if she didn't like the way things were going, she could change it.
No.
Yeah, that was I had to point that out. That I forgot what scene it was, but where it like almost glitched out.
Yeah.
I forgot what happened, but
well, at least in the second episode, the beekeeper comes out of the sewer and she just goes, "No," and then it just blips to something else entirely.
Yeah, and then of course the shocking ending of the second episode is we turn to color. Which ironically, I think both Bewitched and I Dream a Genie started in black and white and then became color shows. And she was pregnant.
Yep.
You know, and then episode 3 was, I guess, finally in 1970s. Very much a Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, some of the other type of shows, early 1970s type look to it. Almost like a show that, like Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, that started in the 60s and then was still on into the 70s. And she had twins. But the interesting thing is Geraldine, who we now know as Maria Monica Rambeau,
isn't who she seems.
Isn't who she seems, but also with Wanda trying to create 2 more life forms in this universe, it caused her powers to go sort of scatterbrain and not keep everybody in the grip that they are normally in, including some of the residents. You know, and Vision started to notice things.
Oh, like when he was out there. When he was out there in the front yard
with the hedges and was cutting the concrete.
It was going through. Yeah, they were cutting the hedges and it was like going through the concrete. That was funny. Yeah, no. And then, you know, the interesting thing with that episode is the twins were named, gosh, I'm drawing a blank.
Was it Billy and, something else?
I can't remember, but apparently they're Marvel characters themselves or something like that. So
yeah,
all these other theories started to come out if these twins were real or she was making them up or you know, all this stuff. It was
I mean, in Vision starts to suspect
so it's
things.
Billy and Tommy.
And
it sets up the Young Avengers.
Yeah. And so there was that whole discussion. And then, you know, episode 4, that episode just.
We find, I mean, they touched on it in Spider-Man Far From Home, but more in the comical student news way. But we finally got to see a scene of people coming back and the almost horror-like quality of it, where people are just materializing out of thin air.
That was really cool. That whole opening scene with her in the hospital and everything.
Yeah, and it's really neat how they set it up because you hear the conversation her and Carol had in Captain Marvel, and then she pops back up and she even sees herself form in front of her, in front of herself, and she's in the hospital, and she ends up running into a doctor who was there the last time she was there, and then we find out with her mom, and she finds out. I mean, she literally comes back to life and finds out that her mom died from cancer.
Yeah.
I mean that to begin with, and we basically get a whole episode of what's going on the outside, and
my boy Jimmy Woo, I love him.
I mean the little thing we got.
Sweet boy finally learned a card trick.
Yeah, the I didn't pick up on that the first time, but
I didn't either.
But notice the second time, I was like, "Oh crap!" He learned. He had over 5 years, and he learned the card trick
to learn the little card finger flick thing.
That and Darcy made a return. We haven't seen her since Thor: Dark World.
Yeah,
she's now a doctor. Which is great because it introduces two familiar minor characters, and and then we see Monica get sucked into this town, which like a lot of people thought, it's in New Jersey, Westview, but whoever's we don't fully know if it's Wanda yet at this point. Who's ever doing this, no one thinks the town exists. It's right there, and for some reason, most people it doesn't seem aren't affected. Why? But apparently Jimmy Woo and Monica can see it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because they've dealt. I forgot. Did they even really explain it? It's just maybe because they've dealt with the fan.
Fair.
They've just dealt with maybe the Fantastic before, so they're a little bit harder to fool. We get to see Sword for the first time. They don't really explain how it came into existence. We'll probably learn that at some point. My only assumption is at some point, Nick Fury entrusted Monica to start this agency that would monitor the cosmos, and apparently also eventually superhumans, specialized.
Because this is the thing with like Marvel stuff, is I don't read the comic books.
We have now reached where we're getting into deep Marvel stuff.
Yeah, and this is the thing that not really concerns me, but I need to be spoon fed this stuff because outside of like Avengers, Captain America, and Spider-Man,
in the comics, Sword is more of the like space-bound version of SHIELD.
Yeah.
But I guess in the MCU, they've sort of expanded to not just space-bound, but they're also watching the super-powered humans too.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling eventually we might learn the backstory about when Sword actually started, because obviously maybe they were so secret that even Hydra didn't know they existed, because they, SHIELD fell because Hydra infiltrated them. Which, another thing in episode 3, we got another commercial, which continued the whole commercial. The commercials are like from her trauma.
Oh, was it like, what was it, like Hydra soap or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hydra soap.
Hydra soap or something.
So and then the interesting thing we will learn is like, there's more episodes than the one we saw. Yeah. They're seeing a sitcom progress.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that we are. And based on what it's hard to say that maybe this has been over a week that this has been happening, a week or 2 weeks. It's hard to tell. They don't really go into how time is.
Like I said on Twitter, the people in WandaVision are us watching WandaVision, trying to find out what WandaVision is.
Yeah, and it's
me Woo writing down, is Vision alive? I don't know.
Well, that was the other interesting thing is the how
about Nightmare Vision?
Yeah. Well, Darcy is the one who figures out what's going on by figuring out that whatever energy field is broadcasting a TV signal, and is letting you see what's going on inside this universe. Yeah, and then we really finally get to see what happened to Monica. You know,
She got straight up yeeted out of there.
yeah.
Just-
I mean, Wanda just lost control and basically tossed her out of there. And then we got to see now that I think that makes the interesting question: is she literally reanimating his dead corpse? Because he's a synthoid. He wouldn't decay.
Yeah,
because he's not natural. He's all machine.
there was. I'm a member.
Is she literally reanimating his corpse?
I'm a member on some Marvel Facebook group, so I kind of keep up on some of these hardcore Marvel people. I learned some stuff from them, and they were like, "Well, yeah, like you just said, Barry, Vision can't decay. So did she did she go back and like get his corpse and is like doing like weird twisted stuff to it, like trying to keep?"
I'm trying to remember. Does she perish with the snap, or does she?
She turns to dust.
Snap.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And I'm like, how does she go back?
I mean, my only assumption is
Exactly.
they took the body probably to Avengers headquarters.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So who knows? They may have buried him nearby.
Yeah.
So
when he comes walking in the house and he's all blurred and you can see his face is all gray and stuff, and then
and then she fixes it.
She the camera focuses and it's dead Vision with the stone ripped out of his forehead.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's creepy.
Yeah, I mean it's you get more of and of course it ends with Monica going, "It's Wanda." And I think the other thing we learned basically, and this is what we all really thought, the residents in the town were the actual residents.
Mm-hmm.
And they start piecing together, except for one. There was one on that board. They haven't figured out who it is, and that's Agnes.
What's up with that?
I mean, there is a rumor she's a specific character.
Interesting.
And she may be the one who may be pulling the strings, or she's pulling the strings for someone else. That maybe led Wanda to down this road of you can create your own reality, because we've never seen her. We've seen her mess with people's minds.
Yeah.
And basically put like almost a reality or ideas in people's mind. We've never seen her fully create a reality.
Yeah.
So someone had to have put that in her, that idea in her head.
Just a way to cope.
And
I mean, it's a hell of a way, but
yeah. So it's
that episode went by so quick because it was getting so good. I don't know if it went by quick for you guys, but like half an hour later.
They're not terribly long.
No, they're like 35 minutes.
No, we haven't even. By I think the next episode we will have reached the point of being the equivalent of a typical Marvel movie runtime.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we've still got a ways to go. Obviously, it looks like next week, after this sort of pause, we're going to move into the 80s next week, which makes me feel like, we've got, I think, 6 episodes left. I think this is going to be 10.
Yeah, I think it's a 10 episode season. Yeah.
So, we got the 80s, the 90s, and then what I'm going to assume is like more current time, the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really hope the 2000 is like an Office style, like it moves away from the sitcom and goes straight on to like single camera, which I think it might based on 1 or 2 shots that we've seen.
Is the Halloween one the 80s one? The one where
I'm not sure, because the 80s one looks very Family Ties.
So that might be 90s, 80s.
It'll be interesting to see. But I think, like I said, I absolutely love this series. I love that we're getting something so different, than what we're used to. But at the same way, it still doesn't look like a TV show.
My mother-in-law, she's into it. It's amazing watching her.
This episode 4 looked straight out of any MCU film that we've seen.
Well, that's
so
the
far.
thing. I think it's funny that like the first 3 episodes at least just kind of felt like that cute, either 50s, 60s, or 70s vibe, and then this was like, hello, welcome to the big screen.
With the first 3 episodes still had that tinge of darkness in them.
Yeah.
And it progressively each episode little bit more Twilight Zone type of a feel to it.
And that's why my mother-in-law loved it. Like, she watched the first 3. She's like, oh, I love all the old sitcom feels. And then we Cheryl and I told her, we're like, well, this episode, it's going to be more like a Marvel like movie, and it's not going to be the fun sitcom stuff anymore. And she was like, aw. She's like, I love that stuff. But no, she's into it. She loves it. So,
like I said, I think this, it's an interesting way sort of starting basically. And, obviously the next phase wasn't originally supposed to begin with this.
Yeah.
But it's
what we got.
It's what we got. And hey, I mean, we're getting MCU like almost every week through like May.
Yeah.
I guess technically through June, with Loki. So it's like, I'm not complaining.
But the haters are going to hate.
Yeah. And I think this is one show that I think will definitely in the future work better as a binge. Because it's not as self-contained as like the Mandalorian episodes are.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I don't want to binge this. I want to get it, there's something to be said about the week releasing it every week, and you get that excitement for what's going to come next, what's going to happen next. And
there were some people complaining about like Disney's release schedule, like it releasing like the weekly release is fine, but there were a lot of people complaining about releasing at like what time does the episode drop? Like 3 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, midnight Pacific time is when they drop everything.
There were a lot of people saying, Disney needs to do something a little bit different to where, people that do stay up and watch it up at 3 a.m. and then people that wake up at 9 a.m. are already seeing spoilers. So,
well, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
You can't control what people post.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than Netflix dropping an entire series and then whatever 10 hours later, someone's blabbing about.
Yeah.
The ending where we try not to binge anything anymore because you forget it so fast.
Yeah.
When you binge it.
Even with like movies though too. Like I remember going into freaking Rise of Skywalker pissed as hell because somebody ruined the whole Rey Palpatine thing.
Yeah.
And I was just scrolling through Twitter, and of course that's my fault for doing it, but it's like at the same time it's like, really, you couldn't hold it in, and this was like opening day.
Yeah,
I was like, you could not hold that in.
I mean, and
your life.
It's definitely hard. It's harder for us because we have to constantly be on social media, and we see almost every trailer, preview, rumor comes past our eyes, and so it's hard
to avoid.
Avoid. I mean, and I think that's one of the reasons why we like the MCU so much, because they do such a good job of keeping. I mean, all you got to do is go back and listen to our episode before Infinity War and before Endgame, and God, how wrong were
how off were we?
were our predictions? I mean, and that's just how.
I need to go back and listen to.
I will say the Mandalorian has done I don't know what Lucasfilm has done, but they have done a lot better of keeping things secret, locked down than they did with the 3 Star Wars, the 3 the new trilogy. Like
after a while, they were like, we don't care what gets out.
And MCU has always been, to the point. You remember in the Infinity War trailer, they animated the Hulk in the Wakanda battle scene.
Yeah,
just to fool people.
Ryan, just be like me and watch popular shows 3 years late when you've forgotten any spoilers.
Oh, Ryan.
Hey, I'm still working my way through Naruto, so I mean, and that came out years ago. So.
I'm on season 6 of Criminal Minds. Don't ruin it for me.
Barry, I know.
It's a CBS procedural. Somebody dies, and then they and then
the unsub is the white male.
We need to do a podcast episode. Emily, I know you haven't watched Cobra Kai, right?
Oh no, leave me out of that one.
We need to do a whole podcast episode of just nerding out about Cobra Kai because I absolutely love that show. We're finally.
I feel like we should have Matt Korn on because neither him nor I were the biggest fans of season 3.
No,
I had a lot of issues with season 3.
Oh, I'm curious. I'll have to reach out to Matt. Maybe he can. Maybe he can come on. That would be funny actually.
I think he might be able to come on if we're not talking about Disney stuff.
Yeah. It's. But I absolutely love that show. But we just got caught up. So anyways, all right. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we are good to get on out of here. Barry, tell everybody about the 6,000 vlogs we've got up on the.
Yeah. I mean, we've had some discussion, and as we've said, we're trying to push things more onto YouTube. I think when Clint started ThrillGeek and when I joined up, we never imagined that we'd be doing vlogs.
Well,
and
I remember when I joined though, and you were like, "No vlogs, no one's faces here." And I'm like, "Okay."
It's we've tried to come up with a way to come up with things more consistently. So the plan going forward is Wednesdays and Saturdays. We will release a new ThrillGeek Adventures, whether that be a vlog. If we don't have a vlog ready, we will go live from a park, and we will do a ThrillGeek Adventures live stream from a park. But we're trying to be consistent and have something on a consistent basis, so people who do subscribe to the YouTube channel will consistently get content, and hopefully this will attract more people. And, we're trying to be more personable and putting our faces out there, not just on YouTube, but also on social media, because I think, we've gone back and forth, Clint and I think over the years of we shouldn't have a face. We should have a face. No, we should only post pictures of stuff. And I think in this day and age, people want to see the faces behind what they're yes. They just want something more personable with our personalities, and all three of us have rather distinct and sometimes similar personalities.
It's like Barry just like talking about like how cool this merchandise is, and I'm just like in the background like dabbing.
So it's we just want to be a little bit more consistent, and just knowing from now on, for the time being, we're going to try Wednesdays and Saturdays. There will be either a vlog or a live stream up on our YouTube channel. We hope.
Maybe
I have just filmed multiple vlogs, so it's like we've already got 3 in the can. And of course we'll be shooting one at opening day of Mardi Gras. So
we're gonna live at opening day of Mardi Gras.
So it's just, I think, like I said, we're trying to move things in a different direction, and we'll see how this goes. And
I'm building a whole damn new podcast studio. So the podcast ain't
whenever we can finally all 3 be in the same room again.
Yeah, that's kind of my goal with this, and which is why I'm kind of taking my time on it. The big thing with this is obviously, Barry and I have tried several stuff in here, recording together. We were recording together before a little thing called coronavirus happened.
2 months of recording together, and then
so I do want to get back together, all 3 of us, recording the podcast. It's just a better recording environment. It provides better chemistry. Doing these remote podcasts, it's sometimes hard to get the chemistry there and that sort of thing. So I definitely do want to get back to recording the podcast, all 3 of us together. If something happens and only 2 of Barry can be here, Emily needs to record remotely, that's fine. But I would love to get all 3 of us here, in the coming months, when things are allowing us to do so.
Yeah, and I mean, same way, like when we have guests on, it'll be easier for the 3 of us to interact with them if we're all in the same room together.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's just,
and not
it's better
talking
chemistry.
talking over each other when we're
Yeah.
trying to talk to a guest. So.
Like I'm more comfortable recording a podcast in person. I don't mind doing these remote ones where we're, you know, in different locations. But just being together just provides a much better environment for recording. So, anyways,
Emily's like, I don't want to drive.
No, just bring me with snacks. I'll come over.
we'll have a party in here every podcast recording.
Yes.
So,
But that's the
all
thing.
right.
You two will be talking. I'll be like in the back with like some pizza, being like,
I got chicken tenders.
chicky nuggies
Chicky nuggies.
Chicken
with the
nuggies.
chalky milk.
Come on over,
Yeah.
Emily. Anyways, Barry, let us tell us about some of the videos you got going up, some of the ones you got live already, and
What can the people look forward to?
Yeah,
all
well,
that
first
stuff.
we are at ThrillGeek on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/ThrillGeek. Please like and follow our Facebook page. And of course, YouTube.com/ThrillGeek. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've got a couple of new vlogs up there. Obviously, we do have Emily's Busch Gardens Mardi Gras vlog up. We've got Clint's Universal Orlando update vlog up there. Sin made a miraculous return to a vlog. Everybody seems to like them much better when Sin's in them. We went to Disney's Animal Kingdom and went on the safari. We stopped. We walked in and there was an empty bar at Yak and Yeti, so we pulled up and had some food and drinks. Saw some more of the animals. So just had a good fun on a nice, slow, beautiful day at Animal Kingdom. So all that, and like I said, we've already got 3 other vlogs coming up. Well, 4 really, coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're back at Epcot Festival of the Arts.
Epcot Festival of the Arts. What festival is this?
Yeah, we're back at the Festival of the Arts for just to show you some more of it that we didn't get to in the first vlog, which we also have for Thrill Geek Adventures. I go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and just go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and have a good time. And we will also have a park hopping one where I literally hop on the Skyliner, go to Epcot, and then hop back on the Skyliner and go to Hollywood Studios and run into Emily. So that will be coming soon in the next couple of weeks. And like I said, we will be at opening day of Mardi Gras, and we'll have a fun-filled vlog from that.
Please don't throw any beads at us.
Yes. So all that on the YouTube channel, ThrillGeek.com, for the latest in theme park and pop culture news. And of course, we are continuing making little tweaks to the website with our new layout. And then, of course, you're listening to the Thrill Geek podcast. Where if you can get a podcast, you can listen to the Thrill Geek podcast, and you can watch it on YouTube and Twitch.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll have the Twitch going back up here, up and running. Probably the next episode. I literally had to throw this together with the office being a mess here, with doing the remodel and everything. So I had to throw this thing together. So, anyways, guys, thanks for chatting with us in the live chat as usual on YouTube. And Emily, thank you once again for joining us.
You're welcome.
And we will see you guys on the next episode. Take care.
See you in the parks. Stay safe.
All right, I think that's a good enough awkward silence.
Is that Floof?
Yeah.
Sweetest floofy boy. That's my boyfriend.
Uh-oh, James.
He knows.
Apparently Oishi is his girlfriend. So.
No, Oishi is his bargaining chip on Zoom calls.
We took Bungie for a walk earlier, and it about killed him. I swear. Poor dog.
Poor buddy.
It's getting old.
Well, that's when because like for reference for people who don't know, which I don't know why you would know, but I do live on the 3rd floor. So when you were like, "Oh, can you watch Bungie?" and I was like, can he do that?
His-
And that poor dog, he did. He went up those stairs, and by the time he got in the door, he kind of just rolled over.
He's like, I'm
let me
done.
take the harness off him, and he was like, please leave me here to die.
Oh, like
How old is Bungie?
Too old.
He's 11, 12.
Yeah, 11, 12.
So he's up there.
Dexter is 12 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Dexter is 10 times skinnier than Bungie.
Yeah.
Poor dog.
But like my mother-in-law, she's here, she's been down here watching the kids and stuff with school and stuff. And she has a dog. She has a little mini
She has
golden.
a piece of fried chicken.
The fried chicken.
I
Poodle.
saw her for the first time the other day, and I was like, that is a piece of fried chicken.
Yeah. Josie. And Bungie loves going up there and just hanging out, because she's sleeping in our guest bedroom upstairs. And Bungie will be at the bottom of the stairs looking up the stairs like, do I have to go up those?
Josie, please come down.
Yeah, like he wants to go up there and hang out with her so bad, but he's like, I do not want to go up these stairs.
And Josie's like, probably like, I know you won't come up here. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we did the. Speaking of, we did the DNA test with Bungie, so we're gonna find out what kind of a mutt he is. So, we've always wanted to do one. We've just never gotten around to doing it. So, we finally got around to doing it, and so I think it takes like 2 weeks or something like that to get the results back. So, I'll be interested. We've always guessed border collie and obviously lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what the results are.
You just got like a big box square head, and I'm
Yeah.
like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, because
I think-
Chloe was a lab beagle mix.
Yeah,
I think
you
it was.
could tell.
I forgot who said it, but somebody said Saint Bernard, and I was like, I don't see any Saint Bernard.
No.
It's just the head shape. That's
Yeah.
really the only thing.
He's got a big, bulky head, so
He has a
maybe-
box for it.
Yeah, he does.
Whereas like Dexter's a labradoodle, but there's
Dexter
different
is
types.
a shark.
There's different types of labradoodles. His father was a full size poodle, and then the mom was a labradoodle, which is why he's got sort of some more of the poodle
Yeah.
like look to him. But he's still got some of the lab look in him too.
He's a
Yeah.
sharky boy.
So, alrighty, guys. So I'm gonna wrap up the live stream here, and thanks for tuning in as usual. And like I said, I'll get the Twitch going up next week, and we'll stick to that, and we'll push everybody over here. I didn't make a post on Facebook because I know we did have people that watched on Facebook. So I may make a post on Facebook just saying, hey, we're not going to be doing the podcast streams over here anymore. Come on over to YouTube.
And all the old people will be like, what?
See you,
What's
Ryan.
on the YouTube?
Go Bucks.
I don't have a YouTube account.
But yeah, no, we did have several people that watched consistently. There's some WWE pay-per-view tonight, Royal Rumble or something.
Yeah.
So I don't think that helped us tonight. There was probably a lot of people watching that. So anyways, all righty, guys.
Yeah, but then I'm going to look. Yeah, go ahead and go. We can talk about that.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye.